Welcome you all. Welcome to Life Made Up of Questions. Today our guest is Dr. Ajith Sankar. So on behalf of Life Made Up of Questions, first of all, I would like to welcome sir. So let's have a brief introduction about him. Dr. Ajith Sankar, PhD, MSW, MBA, PGDP Counseling. He is an academician, a consultant and psychological analyst. Dr. Ajith Sankar is an academician, speaker and career columnist. He is having 20 plus years of experience encompassing human resource, industrial psychology, and entrepreneurship development. He is known for professional mentoring and for establishing first of its kind HRD development in an educational institution in Kerala. Ajith Sankar holds PhD in human resource development and a university first rank in social work with gold medal from the University of Kerala. He holds a postgraduate degree in psychology, business management, and counseling. Dr. Ajith is a national career guide and the founder of Consortium of Experts, a platform focusing on human resource development and career guidance. He is also in the decision-making and advisory role of Aram Scientific Solutions and Aris International, two of the prominent NRI groups based out of the Middle East. He is an external professor to the Kerala Technological University for more than 1.5 decades. He served in the syllabus and curriculum committee of MBA program in the university. Dr. Ajith is an empaneled resource person to UGC HRD Cell, AICTE, IMG, and a panel member for KDISC. He is an inspirational speaker known for delivering content-fit message to audiences of school, college students, government servants, executives, parents, teachers, and general public. Dr. Ajith is a columnist in the HR and career domain across diverse weeklies and dailies in Kerala, including the Malayalam Manorama and Deshabhiman. His key focus are employability, career mapping, work-life balance, personality counseling, and mentoring, as well as formulation of effective HR strategies for prospective professional life. So we are very glad to have our guest, Dr. Ajith Sankar here. So welcome you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. And I'm extremely happy to come to this platform, Life Made Up of Questions, because this is a really meaningful title, because it's the right title, whether we talk about the professional life or the personal life. The reality is that whatever or wherever a person stands in life, nobody is comfortable at any stage of their life. And it is the questions, either the self questions or questions from others, that push people to move forward. So I will say that Life Made Up of Questions is the apt title when we talk about the career and professional life. So thank you so much once again for inviting me to this platform.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So first of all, let's start with the students, because all are students, one or the other way. We are all are learning till our end of the life. So all are students, but we need mentors also, experts to guide the students. So what will be the main focus of students? What must be the main focus of a student in career building, or what we so-called the career? What are the main areas a student has to focus?
Yes. It is an absolutely relevant question, sir. Because when we talk about career, first of all, our students, especially the college students, those who are completing their graduation and post-graduation, are about to enter into the job market. But unfortunately, most of the students do not know the real definition of the meaning of career. There is a big difference between the term job and a career. A job is actually getting a task and getting a revenue. That particular concept or the word is not pushing the people to think long term. But when we think about career, career actually makes a person to think long term. Career, in fact, originated from a Latin word called carus, which means the course of life. So that means a person who starts the career at the age of 21 or 22 or 23 after completing their BTech or other graduations or post-graduation, they will continue at the age of 60. And nowadays, people are continuing their career till the end of their life. That is, till the end of the life, the professional life continues. So it is something longer. So first and foremost, the mental makeup of our students should be that when we think about the job, it should be longer. So they should think in terms of career, not job. So that is the first and foremost point that I must say. And there are various factors which influence a career. But normally people ask me, sir, when should we think about a career? There is no specific time for a career mapping. But if people ask me to name a particular age for thinking about the career, I will say that it should be at the end of completion of 10th standard, at the age of 15 or 16, after completing the general studies, a student thinks about the specialization. After 10, 11, the person goes to the specific studies. Either it could be biomax or a science with computer or a humanities or a commerce. So there they gradually coming to the specific stage, and the graduation again making them more specific. Post-graduation makes them more specific. And after the post-graduation, they enter into a job which is related, which must be related to their studies. So ideally, a student should think about the career at the age of 15 or 16 as soon as they complete their 10th standard. But don't worry if a person who is doing the graduation or post-graduation didn't think about their career and nowadays they are thinking about the career. Don't worry, this is actually the right time. Whenever the right thinking comes, that is the right time to think about the career. And a spark comes and they feel that this is the right subject for me and this subject should earn some bread for me. That thinking comes, that is the right time to formulate a career. But that should be long term. Whenever that spark comes, the decision should be long term. That decision should be for 30, 40 years. And in conclusion, I will say that career is something long term, and ideal age for thinking about a career is 15 to 16. But even if it is late, don't worry. Whenever the spark comes, they should think and plan about a long term career, not a short term job.
Exactly, that sparks, that right thing happen at the right time. It must happen.
Absolutely.
So, we need to plan, as sir has mentioned, the planning has to start. The vision or the focus must be there from the 10th standard onwards, and maybe with further studies or further deviation or with experience, our career focus may be changing. So it is an endless way, and everything must happen in the right time. So we are having the mentors for further discussions. So it's a great idea from your side, sir. So
absolutely, sir. Your point is absolutely valid. If a person maybe cannot think alone and formulate a career plan, the right teacher, the mentor, or the coach, or somebody who is senior that a person can trust should guide or seek the help of a senior person to formulate a career. So, a mentor in life is something very, very important because of now there is a big change happening to the new normal. I'll come to that new normal later. But your point is absolutely valid, sir. This seeking the help of a mentor will help for the formulation of right career plans.
Yeah, for focusing, as sir has mentioned, for focusing on a better long-term vision for the career building, what are the main elements for career building or career mapping?
Yes, but there are a couple of elements that when we think about a career or a map a career, there are a lot of changes are happening. As everyone knows, the change is the only constant thing that happens in the world. When we think about generations, the first industrial revolution happens in the form of a steam engine or a factory. Then comes the diesel petrol, then comes the electronics, then gradually the computers came. Now it is the digital revolution. So after the COVID, the post-COVID scenario is known as the new normal. A lot of changes are happening, and mainly the technological advancement in every area of work, whether we study engineering or humanities or commerce or even the medicine or health studies, these technological aspects are very much important. Because now the new normal is, in fact, it is happening in the digital revolution, and so each and every work is, in fact, coined and guided with the help of technology. We call it as ABCDEFGH of the IoT, which guides the work environment. A for artificial intelligence, B for blockchain, C for cyber security, and D for data analytics, E for extended reality, and F for full stack development, G for gamification. And then H is the human computer intelligence interaction. This IoT world is in fact controlling. So whatever be the studies that we take, the technology plays a huge role. So I will say that from now onwards in future, there is a tech element in whatever career you plan, whatever you study, whatever job you do, there is a tech element. And the second aspect will be the human touch element. So the tech element and the human touch element are the inevitable parts of every job whenever we enter into a career. And these two factors play a huge role till the end of a person's professional life. And as Sir asked, what are the elements that influence when we think about a career or mapping a career? There are, in my opinion, there are five critical elements that we need to think when we plan for a career. The first and foremost is called the aptitude. And that is the reason why most of the recruiters, most of the companies conduct their preliminary round as the aptitude test. Aptitude, it should be in various forms. It is something that tests the inborn ability of a person, inborn traits of a person. It could be the linguistic aptitude or the logical aptitude or the STEM aptitude or organizational aptitude, creative aptitude. There are different types of aptitude are there. So number one element should be the aptitude factor. The second factor is called the interest factor, which is huge. I will say that out of the five, interest plays a very, very huge influence on a person's career. What, even if the person has the aptitude, even if the person has the ability, if that person is do not having any interest in the study or the job, he or she cannot sustain in the study as well as in the employment world. So interest is the second factor, second element, which is playing a huge role in a person's career mapping. That is the reason why even after at the age of 50, there are people say that I'm still not able to find what interests me. That means that person is doing something for their daily life, but that particular work is not enjoyed. That is the reason. So interest is the second element that plays a crucial role. Third one is called the personality. The person's personality is also a major factor for career planning and career mapping and also movement in a career. Whether a person is extrovert or ambivert or an introvert, that particular personality trait influence a person's career. And the fourth factor, the fourth element is called the skill. The ability to use a person's knowledge is called the skill. The two types of skills, the soft skills as well as the hard skill. When people think about hard skills or the functional skills are very, very important. I will say that more than the hard skill, it is the soft skill that matters. And there is a fifth component, the fifth element, and the last element, I will say that it is the family support. And the people in the family, whether it is the parent or a partner or the children, these people also play a very, very crucial role, either deciding in a career or in movement of a career. So these are the five critical elements that every individual should think and analyze while formulating a career plan: aptitude, interest, personality, skill, as well as the family support. These are the five critical elements while planning a career.
Well explained, sir. Beautifully said. Because in olden days, we used to always tell A, B, C, D. We'll be stopping. But now in this digital era, we are extending to till H. That is finally
Yes.
the human intelligence
Yes.
also coming. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. It's a new knowledge for me
Yes.
also. Beautifully said. And finally,
Thank
the
you.
attitude, aptitude, then the family support.
Yes.
As sir has mentioned, at any point of time, we are having the global level opportunities, irrespective of any location or any language or any region. We are, the sky is the limit. So family support matters a lot. So all
It
these
is.
things can be incorporated. So it
Yes.
was a wonderful explanation regarding the elements of career. Very simply, as so much like the crust is explained in a beautiful way. So
Yes, sir.
thank you, sir, for the
For
wonderful.
our youngsters, sir, one more point I want to add. As a person who is standing in the industry, I used to see a lot of resignations from people. And out of these five elements, the fifth element, the last element, the family factor, is in fact a major factor for people to leave a job that he or she likes. Because without the family support, a person's job or a career or a work environment cannot move forward in a smooth manner. So family support and inclusive interest of the family members also plays a very, 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 very important role, I must say.
Yeah, exactly. Because sometimes while getting a better opportunity or trying something, the family may be telling you, no, this is not the right time. But the curiosity, as sir has mentioned earlier, the curiosity or the passion that we need to upgrade or upskill ourselves, then only we will
Yes.
be choosing a better way, or we will be understanding the opportunities
Yes.
surrounding us. But when the
Yes.
family support is coming, it's very easy for a person to upgrade or upskill their lifestyle as well as
Yes.
knowledge level. Yeah. So
True. True.
wonderful research, sir. It was a great explanation. So next, going to the skills, sir has
Yeah.
mentioned the soft skills is one of the primary or the fundamentals. So what about the soft skills and mental health of a student, an employee, or a human being? Totally, we can
Yes.
tell like that.
Yes. Uh, as a person from the psychology discipline, the human resource discipline, I will passionately say that people speak very highly about the technical and functional skill. I'm not degrading that. Technical and functional skills are very much required because that is known as the occupational traits for doing a job. But most of the time, the youngsters, as well as the people, the working professionals, rarely focus on their psychological and soft skills, either during the academics or while working. But whenever there is a problem comes, they think about the psychological and soft skills. I must say that along with the functional skills, people should give topmost importance to the development of soft skills of the psychological skills, because that is very, 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 very important. Because the getting into a job is relatively easy, but sustaining in a job and maintaining the career for 30 years, that is relatively tough, and which requires psychological skills. And when we talk about soft skills are the personality traits required for doing a job. That is the simple definition of soft skills. So I will say that the two things that is every student who are entering into a professional world must focus, the two terms. One is known as the capability. The second one is known as the capability. Capability and capability are different. Capability means ability to deliver. Capability is actually ability to adjust to an environment. And especially our youngsters, the engineering students, the graduate, other graduate students, the postgraduate students who are in the generation of Generation Z. And the Generation Z is the latest generation which is coming to a working environment. And when we think about this Generation Z, they are independent, they like freedom, they are highly creative, they are highly intelligent. But some of the traits that I have observed is that these people have less patience, high anger, and very low adjustment. Whenever there is a problem, they easily leave the situation. So along with the capability skills should be developed by each and every student who are planning to enter into a professional world. That is absolutely must. And there are a lot of soft skills and personality traits which a student must develop during their academics rather than worrying about it, because they don't have to attend specific courses. They can actually fine tune these skills along with their academics and functional skills. And there's so many soft skills are there that I will talk about later, sir. But I'll say that the capability and the capability factors are very much important when we talk about the soft skills. And when we enter into a professional world, it is more than the functional skill, it is the soft skill that matters.
Yeah, the relevance of capability and capability. A person who is capable will definitely be capable, but a person who is capable may not be capable. That is the main
Absolutely right.
beauty of that two terminology. So
Yes.
wonderfully said. So now we can see the role of a parents, because students
Yes.
are there in the school or college, and the other part of their life they are with their family. And now due to the busy schedule, as we are living in the digital revolution or digital era, what's the main role of parenting as well as communication? Communication in the sense it can be an emotional communication, verbal communication. So what is the role of parenting and communication?
See, parenting for fine-tuning a student into a professional, I'll say that that is one major component, because family is the basic agent of socialization. Socialization should happen for an individual to mold into a best human being, a wonderful human being in the society, and family act as the basic agent of socialization. And parent is the critical pillar in the family. So I will say I said just before about the Generation Z factor of the students, and most of the parents of this current era, the parents of our students, they are from the Generation X. And in fact, there is conflicting traits when we observe these two generations. Generation Z likes a lot of freedom, they are creative, they are independent, but at the same time, the parents, the Generation X, now they are slightly rigid, hardworking, focused, saving mentality, and also focus on molding the next generation. So sometimes the communication from a parent may not be clearly understood by the youngster or the student or the child, and the child's communication is not fully understood by the parent. That we call it as the generational difference. But that is not a big problem. This generational difference could be solved with proper communication, because all great changes begins around the dinner table. All great changes, and family meal is the catalyst for enhancing a student development. So I will say that a parent should speak with the child at least during the dinner time or the food time for at least 30 minutes in a day, so that informally, casually, they will deliver the serious conversations. And this serious conversation will help assertive communication, and it help improve the bond. And also open communication will enhance the student to take right decisions at the right time. So parents' role is very, very important. there are so many parents in our society. Some are known as the helicopter parents. These helicopter parents are the parents who are aggressive parents. Every decision is taken by the parent, and they do not give any freedom to the youngster or the student. And remember, the student is from the generation is that they like the freedom. So there starts the conflict there. So helicopter parents must be careful in handling their students. And then the second one is called the permissive parents. These people give all the freedom to the students, and they do not look at the student, their children, about what they are doing. So that is also a serious issue. Whatever the student does, the parent will come and justify it, or even for the negative thing. That is a negative, second type of negative parenting. And there is a third one called the casual parenting. Casual parenting means sometimes they feel that they should mold their child beautifully well. Sometimes they don't care. So this inconsistent behavior is another type of parenting called casual parenting. These three types of negative parenting, in fact, affect the student development. I'll say that the right parenting style should be the assertive parenting style. Assertive parenting style is not aggressive. They talk to the child, they listen to the child, but they will say strongly without harassing the child aggressively whatever they want to communicate, so that the student also listen, the child also listen, and child listens, then further communication happens, the bonding happens. So assertive style of communication, and a communication for at least 30 minutes in a day should be done by every parent. I'm not talking about the children below the age of 15. The children from 15 to 22, those people who are studying for +2 degree and postgraduate, their parents also should spend time, at least 30 minutes, for communicating to their children every day, maybe at least during the dinner time. But I will say once again that family meal act as the catalyst for enhancing the student and career development. So parents' role is very, 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 very important and plays a huge role, I'd say.
Exactly, parents play the fundamental role, because the character of the child will be molded from the family only. Then they're coming to the school or college. So the role of parent is very much relevant. So then comes, after parents come the teachers, starting from the school to the college.
I will, sir, before coming to the teachers, I'm sorry to intervene. I will say that the most of the problems between the parents and the student happens because of three reasons. One is the communication gap. That is no communication or a wrong communication between the student and the parent. So that is one part. The second one is called the comparison. The parents start comparing his child with some others, even if the comparison is not at all relevant, they start comparing. So that actually, in fact, makes the student rebel in their own family. And the third one is a parental advice based on lack of clarity. Here and there, they will get some information and they come and advise their students, their children. So these three C's also plays a major role for creating problems between parents and students. One is the wrong communication, the second one is the comparison, and third one is communication with lack of clarity, information without clarity. These three factors, these three C's, the communication, comparison, and clarity, it must be enhanced for enhancing the parent-child relationship.
Yeah, clarity plays a vital role, because hearing something with a bit or something, only very less, they are not confident that what they're hearing or what is a fact, but reacting and comparing that my son or daughter is not that good as the others, or within the siblings also. All are unique, as sir has mentioned. And that's the main right part where the parents has to correct themselves. Exactly. Now going to the teacher side. As we know, the current world or the current scenario, we are always using the term mentoring, like parents being a mentor, teachers being a mentor, the friends, the guides, the guiding lamps, all these terms are coming, like we are sharing the ideas. There comes the communication. So what is the role of teachers as mentors for industrial readiness for molding a student to a professional, as well as the recruiter's expectation from the students as a professional?
See, the term mentoring itself is it is having vast relevance, because mentoring and coaching are two different types. Coaching is actually facilitating a particular individual for their achieving their professional goals. Mentoring, on the other hand, it is actually facilitating an individual for the overall personality development or the holistic development of the individual. So the individual must be mentored by somebody who knows the individual well. So the parent definitely knows the child well, but the parent in their role cannot act as the mentors most of the time, but they do their duty. On the other hand, a teacher who is in fact guiding with the functional inputs should know each and every individual and must focus on the holistic development of the individual rather than helping them to score some marks. So holistic development must be the focus of a mentor. That is the reason why UGC and AICT, they came up with the courses as teachers as mentors, because for a successful teacher, 50% is the knowledge element that helps them. But the rest of the 50% success is based on their interpersonal relationship with the student, their communication with the student. So mentoring, as a mentor, they have to communicate regularly and also maintain a professional interpersonal relationship with the student. But if a teacher asks, sir, how can I mentor my 50 students in a class? Definitely it is not possible. The mentor should ideally mentor a maximum of 5 students. Then only he can know in depth about each and every student and mentor. That is the reason why in a particular class of 30, there may be 3 or 4 mentors, so that 6 or 7, 5, 6, 7 students can go under a mentor, and they have at least once in a week talk, and the mentor can give the inputs and mold properly. So for doing that, I will say that there are 4 E's that each and every teacher should focus. That for the 4 E's that I will recommend, one is called the enjoy, the second one called the empower, the third one called the educate, and the fourth one called the edify. What are they? The first one, enjoy, means the teacher must enjoy that particular job. If the teacher is not enjoying the teaching, he or she cannot be a good mentor, and they will give a negative remarks, negative energy to the student. So enjoyment is number one factor. The second one called the empower. The teacher should continuously enhance their knowledge. They should know what is happening in the current market, in the technological market. Perform or perish is gone. Now it is digitalized or demolished. So that is the empowerment factor is very much important. So enjoy, empower. The third one called educere, A-D-U-C-E-R-E. Educere is a word that means the teacher's focus is to bring the best performance from the student. That is the educere. And the fourth and the critical factor is known as the edify, E-D-I-F-Y. That means the teacher should focus on the character development of the student too. Then only become the holistic development happens. So enjoy and empower from the teaching or the teacher individual angle, educare and edify, that is from a student angle that as teacher should think. So enjoy, empower, educate, and edify are the 4 E's that every teacher should think when they come into the shoe of a mentor. Because there is a process for a teacher-student relationship. One is the first is the emotional connect. Whenever there is a good emotional connect, which leads to the intellectual connect, and when there is a right emotional connect and right intellectual connect, it leads to the interpersonal connect, which is long term. That is why even the 50 or 60-year-old CEOs are still going back to their teachers whenever there is a problem and get their advice and come back. So there is an emotional connect, intellectual connect, and interpersonal connect. And if these 3 connections are there, then the mentoring process will go absolutely fine. So teachers' role is very, very important nowadays in the market, especially during this digital revolution.
And what will be the recruiter's expectation? We know that every student, while entering into their graduation or the professional studies like the BTech or other professional courses, within the 4 or 5 or 3 years, there must be some changes happening in their student. Being a student to a professional while undergoing the degree program, usually they're learning many things, they're writing the exam, they're clearing, they're getting the degree. But other than that, as sir has mentioned, the mentoring also must be there. Some changes has to happen while entering into a college and leaving a college. That change will be the added advantage over the student as well as the recruiters. So what are the expectation of your recruiters in the current scenario?
See, most of the recruiters they tell that there is a gap between us and the academics. We are not getting the right candidates, because I'll say that there are good candidates, but there should be a general change happens, especially from a psychological angle, from a mindset angle. The recruiters prefer especially I'm talking about the freshers. Recruiters prefer freshers with the learning mindset. The mindset should be for skilling, reskilling, and upskilling. So that is what knowledge is something. It is happens on a day-to-day basis. It is continuous. So learning mindset is the first and foremost. So we generally ask the freshers about certain questions which reveals the learning mindset of the individual. So whenever they give an answer to a recruitment panel or recruiter or interviewer, the interviewer should feel that the fresher is having a learning mindset. That is number one. And that is the reason why, rather than giving a simply a resume or a CV, nowadays the very much importance is given for the profiling factor. The profile is not just the degree. It involves the internship aspect, the practical aspects, what they did and what they did in the applied part during their studies. So that is very much important. And whenever they go for an internship, that internship should be the thinking should go in two ways. A person who want to go pursue PG and then go for research, the internship should happen in the research platform or the research discipline. But those people who want to go to the corporate, the internship should happen on the other side. So that is from the professional side, the professional side and also research side. So there is a practical profiling, the internship profiling that is very much required, that should be added into the resume or the CV whenever they project their resume to the recruiter. So learning mindset, knowledge acquisition is the first and foremost thing. The second one that most of the recruiter complaints, especially from students from states like Kerala, is the communication issue. Then communication means not just the English language, the body language also plays a role. And when I generally talk to BTech students and other students who are doing the professional courses, they worry about using English language. So I used to tell them English is one of the 7,170 languages in the world. So you don't worry about it. First and foremost, if you have a need for life, you will use the English language. And so English language is, you don't have to worry about the grammar or the accent or the phrase. It is using the right language effectively at the right situation rather than worrying about the grammar. It is called the communicative competence. If you have the communicative competence and there is a need for life, you will speak English. That is the reason why I used to say them that the old ladies who we can see in Kovalam Beach or a Marina Beach, they used to sell mangoes and cashew nut to the foreigners. They never studied English literature, but they speak English, they sell, and the foreigners buy it, and both of the parties leave the scene with happiness, because there is a need for using that language. So first of all, there should be need, learning mindset. The second one should be the need for life. If there is a need for life, they will use proper communication. And communicative competence is very much required. Otherwise, they label English as the language for elite class, or this is something not suitable for me. All these excuses, they will come and they will skip. Ultimately, it is suffered by they themselves only. Nobody is going to suffer. So using language, improving the communicative competence is very much required, and every recruiter expect that. That is the second one. The third one called the adaptability, adjusting to the work environment, acclimatizing to the work environment. Even the Fortune 500 companies in the last 2 years witnessed many of the freshers who joined, especially the BTech students who joined the company, left within 6 months and within 1 year, because they simply resign and go. There is a lack of need as well as lack of seriousness is noted among them. So ability to adapt. For simple criticism, people used to go and suicide. We used to see that. And that should not be the case. Adaptability to a work environment, because you may not get the right colleague, you may not get the right environment, you may not get the things that you like, but still you have to survive there for 6 months to 1 year. And if you survive and adjust for 1 year, then that 1 year will take you further effectively. So adaptability is the third factor. And the fourth one is called the multi-skilling and multi-dimensional. Especially in a gig world, people should learn multiple tasks. Even if I recruit an engineer must do sometimes the sales job too. So sometimes they have to talk to the vendors, they have to talk to the suppliers, not just doing the engineering job. So multi-dimensional aspect is also very much required. So there are a lot of soft skills and other traits are required, but a recruiter expresses number one, a positive attitude. The second one is the learning mindset, and the third one is the need factor. The fourth one is called the adaptability factor, and the last one is called the multi-dimensional multitasking ability. So recruiter expectation, it's always there. A recruiter never gets satisfied, but at least these basic things should be developed by every fresher whenever they go and approach the job market.
Well explained, sir, the real role of teacher as mentor and the expectation of your recruiters. So the main highlight of this discussion with Dr. Ajith Sankar, which I personally felt, is that talking with clarity. All people used to talk many things, but the main highlight with this conversation, which as an audience, I felt like talking with clarity and giving some terminology like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, then the C's, the E's, with some examples, which will be always there in the mind. So he revealed that he is a good teacher, he is a mentor, he is able to create that influence or the authority over the student. That shows a critical role in the present scenario, like where teacher is lagging. Because when I'm speaking or when a teacher is speaking something, if they are speaking with confidence and if they are able to relate it with something, that catchment or that highlight will be there always in the mind of the students. It's like reading a book and getting the visuals. Actually, in this conversation, I was really able to visualize all these things.
Thank you,
Like
sir. I will say that, yeah, yes, sir. Continue, please.
and like that mentoring, when sir has mentioned a student, I first of all, I thought that a student entering into a system, the system is designed by the teacher, where he or she is putting some inputs over that student. So when in the output end, there must be some changes in the student. That changes must be with the added inputs from the teacher also. So it is like a mixing of several things, like sir has mentioned, the soft skills, the hard skills, the creativity, the mentality, the capability, the capability, then all these things are coming. The end result will be a good product. So I really enjoyed talking with you, sir.
Sir, to conclude, I will say that for every student who is doing BTech in our college or wherever they are sitting and watching this, now my simple advice is that whatever subject they are studying, they should love and study. And otherwise, it will be a simple waste. They cannot utilize whatever they learned in their future life. So whatever you do, you should love it. If you are not able to get what you love, you should love what you got. That is the thing. So love what you do. That is the most important point. And for every student, I used to say that you should not worry about certain things. I use certain sentences. It starts with collect. Number one is called collect knowledge, not marks. Marks is very much needed, but the focus should be on collecting knowledge, not marks. Collecting skills, not degrees. Collecting contacts, not the followers in Insta and Facebook. Because connecting professional people will enhance or help them find new opportunities. Collecting health, not wealth, especially freshers who are worried about money. From the first job itself, they are used to simply ask 50,000, 1 lakh, 2 lakhs without even thinking about their capability. So collect health, not the wealth. Collect experience, not certificates. That is the reason why I mentioned about internships and profiling. And collect what you like, not what you get. And these things that every fresher, every student should keep in mind when they enter in the job market and when they plan about their respective careers. Thank you so much, sir, for spending some valuable time with me. I really enjoyed my conversation with you. I feel that some of the inputs that we have discussed in this particular series of 40 minutes will help few of them to fine-tune their professional life.
Definitely, sir. It's my privilege and pleasure to have you had this discussion. I really enjoyed with, as you have mentioned, the love. I really loved this, and I am sure that all the viewers will be loving this, because the clarity is the highlighted thing in this conversation, which I felt myself. And some of the terminologies and the relating factors, it's always there, like creating a visualization in the mindset, which all teachers has to develop that skill in the teacher training program or the mentoring. They have to upskill or update themselves in creating some new methodologies to make the students engaged by creating the curiosity. As sir has mentioned, when the need comes, definitely they will be there. That is the fire for the curiosity. So I really enjoyed and loved the session with you. I wish you all the very best, and I hope that we will be meeting again. And I wish you that you will be busy with all these training programs, and you have to be engaged in a lot of training programs, because sharing your knowledge and your skills are essential, and it will be definitely beneficial for the teaching student community. So thank you, sir, for being with this forum. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for inviting me. And so happy to share my thoughts with this particular YouTube platform. Thank you once again. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.